It's another dude in your weight class, Errol Spence, and he likes to call himself the big fish. But when you hear him call himself the big fish, I don't think you like that. But how does that make you feel?
When Errol calls himself the big fish, I just laugh, you know, because you can't be the big fish if you ain't fought the orca yet.
I'm gonna make you do the stanky leg. What you wanna bet on that? What you wanna bet on? I can bet 100,000 on that. Let's bet $1 million. Easy. Let's bet $1 million. You getting that money, right? Easy. Let's bet $1 million easy. What are you talking about? There it goes.
A lot of people say, oh, he's bigger than you.
Let's stop right there. I guess this is the perfect time to walk you through how to watch this episode. It's called Relentless. It is one of the best pieces of ESPN. Maybe I'm just a little too hyped because I actually think Kell Brook has a chance this weekend. Now, am I going to say that he's going to beat Terence Crawford? No, but does he have a chance to? Yes, I was one of the guys way back when that had Kell Brook going into the fight. I said, yo, he got the ability to be able to beat Sean Porter. Kell Brook is a very good inside fighter. Now, over the years, of course, if you haven't, or if you do not know, you know he's had some layoffs. Both of his eye sockets broken. One against where he dared to be great. We learned a lot about how that fight went down between, or how it came to be between him and Golovkin. Him and Eddie Hearn, meaning Kell Brook, seems to be on the outs a little bit, I guess you can say. Because he feels, you know, that this fight between him and Terence Crawford should be on Sky Sports. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to put it down below in the description box. But where is this fight televised in the States? It's something I never heard of before. And I think you guys get it for like $10 a month or something. Or 10 quid. So, I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. In about, you know, little under 2.5 hours or so, Terence Crawford and Kell Brook are having a media Zoom in which we're going to be live streaming that here on the channel. Also, my colleague, Big J, is over in Australia now getting a nap because he's going to be on that Zoom call as well. It's going to be Andrew Maloney, and also Joshua Franco in their rematch. I'm going to put the whole card details down below in the description box. So once again, let me show you how to watch this episode, do my civic duty here. This here is ESPN Plus. Now, let's go up, walk you through it. So basically, this is just as soon as you type in ESPN Watch Plus, blah, blah, go on down. See me going on down? Go to boxing. Go on down. Now, I didn't see it here, recommended for you in that section. But to make it easy for you, go down where you can filter between sports. Go to boxing. Boom. You like that? You like that shit? Scroll on down. Now here it says what's going to be live and upcoming. As you can see right here, it says it's going to air on ESPN2 at 8:30 p.m. tonight if you don't have access to ESPN Plus. Me personally, I feel that ESPN Plus is essential. Also, they have some replays of some fights. By the way, there's some other content that ESPN put out last night on Crawford versus Brook, a preview show with Joe Tessitore, Tim Bradley, and Andre Ward. And I'm guessing they did that when they were in the bubble for the last fight. So here we are. Keep on scrolling. And before we get back to recapping and reviewing the episode, it's right here. Bam. Click it. On demand. Boom. Look. Easy work. Easy work. See?
We are saying
that's just some commercials. But let's get that off the screen and go back to the episode. So listen to this, though. What I got from this episode is like kind of like a cry. A cry for help a little bit. That's kind of how I feel. Like, you can tell he really wants to fight Errol Spence and he wants better fights. And at this point in time, you can't blame him if he goes over to PBC. I never believed in that bullshit of, you know, that Al Heyman was going to send one of his guys over to the ESPN platform. Put it this way, I never believed that this would be a co-promotional thing. I've always believed that this was some type of freeze-out type deal. You know, yeah, he sent Felix Diaz over there. He was an Al Heyman fighter. I was at that fight, media, even though I never understood covering fights as media in Madison Square Garden. Like, they put us all the way up at the top and you don't get no access. So anytime it was a fight at Madison Square Garden, not like the theater, then it's like, I don't want to go to that because I'm sitting all the way the fuck up there, can't get to the fighters. But anyway, moving on. The point I'm trying to make is Felix Diaz, yeah, okay, all right. That was a kind of a good fight at the time. That fight had some buzz behind it. John Molina, ill. But when it comes to guys like Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, allegedly asking for $10 million, it's just I feel as though they're doing this on purpose to be like, nah, let's wait. Eventually, he gonna run out of there and come over here to us, because in-house fights make more money for all parties involved. Instead of having a split between look at what people, from my understanding, Wilder versus Fury 2 was not as profitable as people think it was, or people may say it was. A co-promotion like that with Fox and ESPN costs a lot of money. Having those broadcasters, it costs a lot of money. So a fight like Spence versus Crawford, and yes, I do believe it's Spence versus Crawford, not Crawford versus Spence, and especially if Errol Spence beats Danny Garcia, I'm sorry, when you compare the resumes, I like what Terence Crawford has done, and I understand the circumstances that he's in. I completely do, but when you look at him, he's 33 years old. We need something. I'm tired of it. Fans are tired of it. We're tired of it. We are tired of it. Do I like the business politics of it? He should be able to stay on ESPN and get the fights he wants. It should be about who or what network puts up the most money. Not about, oh, well, my promoter not going to let me go over there because my contract is, because their network contract, I can't leave because I'm under contract with them. Oh, that fucking bullshit. That's why, you haven't heard me talk about the Canelo situation yet, because there's some interviews that, I'm doing my little Rosetta Stone thing, doing a little Google Translate, because I see where he's going with it. Of course, a promoter want to throw all kind of money at him. He turned down a lot of money. Let's get back to the episode. We're already motherfucking 7 minutes in. So listen, what he's saying, by the way, phenomenal episode. Only 25 minutes long. You got to factor in the commercial. It's a sit down here. I guess we're going to do it this way. I guess this is a good time to go. Man, I hope Top Rank don't get triggered, man. Like, I had to change up all my shit. Apparently, I was using too much highlights, like letting that shit play in the background. That was kind of, all right, they had a point. But I am legally allowed to use highlights. But I see where they were coming from. Like, that shit was a little, I fixed it, though. I fixed it. That was a little too much I was doing. But let's start with the beginning. So you can pretty much see what it is. And obviously, I can't show you motherfuckers the full, episode. Every now and then, you get some assholes in the comments. Someone says, oh, we don't want to see you talk. Just show the full episode, mate. Fuck you, man. Make me sick. So here.
Terence Crawford, you're 33 years old now. You've been off for a while. And the guy that some people had above you on the pound for pound list, he just lost. My question for you is Terence Crawford still the best fighter in the world?
When anybody and everybody asks me who I have as my pound for pound number one, I look at them like, me? What is you talking about?
Still undefeated, Terence.
Now, let me say this. Like I said, you can tell like he's getting kind of frustrated. Also, he did an interview with one of the best podcasts in the business right now in regards to boxing guests. And, his guest on the show, Brian Custer, he was talking about, pretty much that his ESPN or Top Rank contract is going to be expiring soon. Now, his manager is a guy by the name of Cameron Duncan, right? I don't know. I don't hear too much about him. If everything I hear shit about, you never hear too much, or at least I don't. Like, what's his relationship with PBC? And I got to be honest with you. Also, during COVID and this new normal, co-promotion between two networks makes even less sense. So it's going to have to be either one or the other. This Spence Crawford fight is going to have to happen on the ESPN side or on the Fox side. Now, if it happens on the Fox side, Fox is heavily invested in Spence. And when it comes down to it, Fox and ESPN are under the same umbrella in regards to being owned by Disney, right? Isn't that how it works? They got like Fox Sports and ESPN, but not like, I don't know, whatever. Don't get me started. The point I'm trying to make is fans are getting fed up. We're tired. Hey, let's get him talking a little bit more about Errol Spence. Funny enough, Errol Spence and Danny Garcia have a call tomorrow. And depending on how Errol Spence looks, Errol Spence has a mandatory against... Oh, thank God. I forgot. The Errol Spence mandatory, it was a draw. So which means it got postponed. Ew! That nasty ass Sergey Limpinets versus what's his name? Custio Clayton. I watch that shit. I'm a fucking boxing degenerate. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm not covering that shit. And I'll be bitching and complaining on Twitter, like, I'm not covering that. And then sure enough, I'll be here. Covering some of that mess. By the way, let me say this. Listen, remember, I always say this. We're not always supposed to agree. There's going to be sometimes you're going to watch my videos and say, the fuck, this guy's nuts. Or what the fuck is he talking about? Fucking casual ass fan. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. But I'm not no casual, all right? We're not always supposed to agree. Sometimes you're going to be like, hey, this guy, all right. But more likely than not, I'm probably going to piss you off sometimes. You know, so just get that out there. But anyway, here's a nice little healthy jump cut.
Everybody comment on my social media posts, oh, you running from Spence, or you running from this guy, or you running from that guy. It's always going to be an excuse. Errol Spence got in a car accident. That's going to be an excuse. Oh, he never was the same fighter. I never want to fight him coming off of an injury like that. For what? To set myself up for failure? So now y'all can say, oh, this is the reason why? I want you at your best. I want you to feel you at your best because I respect you as a man. I want you to look me in my eyes and say, I'm ready. I'm 110% ready. And we're gonna do this. Let's make it work.
And unfortunately for you, I definitely went, damn, Top Rank, no, I think that's enough. That was only like 2 minutes of content. All right, like 2.5 maybe. But anyway, you know where to watch the episode. It's well worth it. I'm going to give it a 10 of 10. Pretty much the episode is going through, you know, his rise to where he is right now. Now, looking at the resume, like I said, we already talked about it. I don't feel it's his fault. Now, we're going to talk in more detail about all of this, you know, when we got the chat in the next video. I'm going to be doing the stream for the Zoom call. We're going to be here for the final press conference. We're going to be here for the weigh-in. And we're going to have a post-fight live show. My prediction is I have Terence Crawford, but do not be surprised if Kell Brook drops him. You know, he likes to test his chin. My only issue is how is Kell Brook going to look later on in the fight? Kell Brook, especially if you go back to, I was covering Kell Brook since fucking Carson Jones, the first fight. Even before that. Let me see, the first Kell Brook fight I ever covered. On YouTube, by the way. Carson Jones. I don't remember covering the Matthew Hatton fight. If I did, it was on the other channel, because this is the second channel I was on. But I definitely covered the first Carson Jones fight. And the second one was big because if he won the second one, he started going on to the world stage. And I remember the whole saga with the Shawn Porter fight. Long story short, I've been here since the beginning with Kell Brook. And I think that I have a pretty good understanding of his skills and limitations. I'm concerned about him later on in the fight. And the fact that he hasn't had a win at 147 pounds since Kevin Bizier, correct? That was in 2016. Well, he's looking in phenomenal shape. Also, he's a promotional free agent, so he's getting the bulk and he's getting his own money. And one concern I did have is, like, who's his trainer? Like, he's been training himself. Like, basically, a quote was out there that he's doing his own thing. Like, what was that? You know? So, in closing, I'm going to wait until the stream to talk about everything else because we still got so much to talk about. Because it's funny how the Spence versus Garcia fight has it has so many eyes on it because what he talked about, like the injuries or the injury concerns of a Errol Spence, and his points are valid. About, like, listen, like, people gonna make up excuses and shit. Same thing if Danny Garcia beat Errol Spence, you know? That's just the way it is. But all right, I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10. You got to watch it, especially once it starts getting here, like the presentation. But then again, it is ESPN, so you expect good presentation from ESPN, you know?
Things that could happen.
Now he gets right into the kitchen of Benavidez.
You visualizing what you're gonna do.
TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. Please subscribe.
If this happened, what you gonna do?
He's stepping right to him.
If this happened. So it's going through your mind. Everything is going fast.